Hey guys, build report for the not quite sure which one I'm going to do this video. I've got a stack of them up there. I'm trying to work out which one. Just take a look. I can't decide which one I'm going to do. I've already done 2 of the pedals I had to demo, and I've got those. How many we've got? 7 left. I can't. Some of these I can't even actually remember what they are. That's my 10-minute dirt and boost. I was going to do another demo of that because I don't actually have an official demo of a 10-minute dirt and boost. I've had a few requests for it, considering doing it. Most of them are actually, I think, Rullywow. That's actually a Grind Customs. That's a Rullywow. That's a Rullywow, and that's mine. Which one? All right, stuff it. Let's go with the Rullywow Princess Rawr, like a cat, Rawr, and hence the crown on the front. The funny thing is, I actually forgot what it was. Did I tell you once I actually started building pedals to save money? Yeah, I can't even remember what it was. So that's what it is. It's a Rullywow Princess Rawr, and it's based on a Catlinbread. I didn't even know how to say that name. Katzenkonig. A Katzenkonig. And that is apparently a rat crossed with a tone bender. What a great combination, because I actually like both of those pedals. So how's this one going to sound? Well, the funny part about that too is I can't remember. That's the thing when you do things in bulk, when you're cranking them out. Done next, done next. Does it work? Plug it in. Yep. Sounds not bad. Sounds pretty good. Next, and you just sort of crank through it. Really like how this one turned out aesthetically. It all turned out very good. That enclosure is a buffed. Yeah, buffed. Oh boy, having trouble remembering stuff in this one. Must be my old age. Sanded, buffed enclosure from our friends at the Big T. I like to keep other retailers out of my videos in case they don't like what I say, because I've had some people actually come at my throat and say, you said a bad thing, and turns into a big argument. So I just like to try and keep other people's, unless I'm doing something like this where, oh, this effect is great and check it out and but even then I try and be unbiased when I do a review, and sometimes even then I still say things that I probably shouldn't say, because I tend to shoot my mouth off. But anyway, that's a totally different story. So that's come from the Big T, and these knobs are from my web store, which is a lovely, friendly shop that I run because it's a bit of fun for me. Something I do on the side. So those little dots everywhere are actually just a Posca pen, silver and gold. I just dotted everywhere. I decided to do some gold dots around the dials, not like they're accurate to any degree. Just makes the dials stand out probably more than anything else. And actually those little, you can see there's kind of like these little sort of gem things in the top of that, in the top of each 5 of those. In the top of each one of the 5 spikes on the crown, they're actually little stickers, and they came from these stickers I used to sell on my web store. The O inside has a little round sticker inside the O that you pull out to make the O. Or maybe it was an R or something like that. That was what was inside those. I just wanted some small little sticker for that. And I actually wanted to experiment to see if the epoxy would cover up the sticker and not leave a little bump. And sure enough, there's no bump. Look at epoxy. Come on. I could just stare at that for days. I know every video I end up doing this, like drooling on the pedal up close, but just look at it. the closest you'll get to something like that would be probably powder coating. If you really smack it on thick, it'll sort of look like that. But you know, you don't need it because you can just do epoxy. It's probably a bit quicker, a bit. If you haven't got a professional powder coating setup, it's probably going to be a bit easier to actually use epoxy to get that sort of thick, what's the word? Gloss look. Yeah. So that's probably all I got to say about the front, and that's probably the best you're going to see of my painting abilities. But once again, like I said, everything underneath an epoxy coat looks good. So don't worry too much if your artistic ability is a bit like mine, a half brain damaged insectoid. You have the artistic ability of a half brain dead insectoid like I do. It still comes out pretty good. Just keep what you're painting nice and simple, like I've done. A crown, a child can draw a crown. And if you use the epoxy pens, you can just draw as opposed to trying to paint, which is a bit more tricky. So the knobs at the top, you can see filter as in a rat, tone control, gain, output, and input. It's a bit different. Might have to look at the schematic for that, I think. So let's go down to the bench and look at the inside of this one. Sorry if I'm talking a little bit eccentric in this video. It's been a very stressful week, and I think I'm losing my mind. So on the inside, we have a white PCB, which I very much like. It's a little bit different to the usual colors that you see, and you can also read the labels nice and clearly. And quite an uneventful interior, as you can see. I've socketed the transistors, and there is of course no IC, because if you had an IC it would be the LM308, which is a dead dinosaur. Quite hard to find genuine LM308, so it'd be pretty silly making a project based on something that you have a chip that you cannot buy anymore. Bit like my chime amp. Unfortunately that went end of life pretty much the second that I actually finished the project, which is kind of annoying, but welcome to the electronics industry. So what are the chips? We have 2N3904s in all of them. So a relatively low gain transistor. So I guess that's what they're saying by the tone bender. The tone bender part of the effect. I forgot to read you the description of actually what this pedal is based on, what it sounds like. Sorry, I told you what it's based on, but what it actually sounds like. I'm going to read it directly off the bill report, which I can see on my screen just here. The Princess Rawr overdrive is inspired by the Catlinbread Katzenkonig. The circuit is based around a tone bender merged with a rat. This is a dynamic interactive fuzz where small interactions with the controls can make a big difference. We love small interactions, do we not? Nice organic sounds. So we'll see what that sounds like in the actual sound demo. But if you want to read a bit more about it and have a look at the project, of course, you can find that on Rullywow. Ben is his name, on his web store. He's a friendly guy. I've spoke to him many times, and he was kind enough to send in the PCB for this review so that you guys could witness its magic. So I really don't have a hell of a lot more to tell. You've got the pot mounted, this sort of standard output sort of harness thing going on down here, which I use myself as well. Probably ripped Ben off. Sorry, mate. I suppose one you could say advantage of having a very short memory is that you come up with ideas and you think that that they're your own, but they're not. That buff look, well, actually, sorry, on an aesthetic level, that buff look is very nice, actually. I was quite surprised at how good it is. If you've actually tried to buff a pedal yourself, you know how much of a pain in the backside it actually is to do. Just watch out, like there, that you don't, when you use a socket, you don't scratch it. I can't remember if I actually clear coated over the top. If I didn't, it's going to end up a bit of a fingerprint magnet, like the back is. Sort of, you might be able to see in the video, it's got fingerprints all over it, and it will tarnish over time. It'll tarnish, it won't look polished and shiny anymore. So unless you actually spray it with some sort of clear coat, it will tarnish over time. So it's something you need to remember when you do a buff sand job on metal. I suppose most types of metals would have that sort of problem, wouldn't they? But I didn't do it because I don't have time anymore. I do not have time for anything. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover on this one, as far as that goes. What is that in there? I just spotted something. What is that little thing sitting right there? It's a little bit of a lead. Look at that. So that something like that can make a short and your pedal doesn't work properly anymore. That's the sort of fastidiousness you need to have when you're a pedal builder, just to make sure that things like that don't happen, because it can be really hard to find. Like if that thing's just tapping when you're shaking it, you can imagine it'll do your head in trying to find where the problem actually is, where the problem lies. So that's it. I'm really happy with the look of that one. I think it looks fantastic. It came up really well. Everything looks well. You know, like usually I have things to complain about. Oh, I stuffed this up or I stuffed that up. It's not really any overly stuffed up things on this one, and the whole sort of look of it goes quite well, I think, in my opinion. Need to put it back on that. Stickers, bumper, what are they called? Standoff, not standoffs. I think feet is actually the word I'm looking for. A very complicated word for me to remember. But that is it for this video. I hope you liked it, and we'll take a listen to it next in the sound demo. Thanks for watching. Cheers, guys.